Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to take a quick look at the Pixel 4a 5G. Now this is one of Google's latest offerings, and this phone is absolutely fantastic. Just let me start off by saying that. So today we're going to be looking at photos, performance, the basic rundown of things that I've been kind of monitoring over the last week. I bought this about 2 weeks ago, maybe, I think it was, and I posted the first video about a week ago, and I'm pretty excited to report back that ultimately this is one of the best purchases that I've made over the years of buying smartphones, or at least this last 12 months, I should say. This thing is absolutely great. I try to look for some drawbacks and things that I thought would be, kind of iffy about the device. And really that's going to come down to on the spec side. But as far as just using the device, I think you're going to love this thing. So I got this on Google Fi for $350. If you didn't get it at that price, you missed out. You missed out on a serious deal, because now it's not $350 anymore. The recording of this video, as you can see, it's Monday, December 7th. And it is not $350 anymore. It's $499. Now, with that being said, just taking a stab at the price real quick. Here's the Pixel 5, here's the Pixel 4a. Now, both of these devices are fantastic phones. This one is $699, this one's $350, and this one is $499. So when it comes to picking a device, I think if you're just wanting a Pixel, you're gonna have to make a choice out of these three devices. But I would just seriously recommend you get this one. Even at the $499 price tag, it is still great. I mean, I was gonna buy it regardless. I just happened to buy it during the holiday season, and they had it for $350 on Google Fi, so I bought it. So I had a good deal on that. I mean, I hope some of you guys did. I did too. I tried to promote it for you, just to tell you to grab it. And if you were in the market for a Pixel, this is the one to grab for when it was $350. And even at $499, I still say that it's worth it. So this has a 6.2 inch display, 1080p. It's got a 16 megapixel ultra wide. It's got the same camera setup as the Pixel 5, and ultimately it's just wow factor with the cameras, but we already know about that. 6 gigs of RAM, Snapdragon 765G, again same as the Pixel 5. And if you're wondering about that case, this is the case. I've done a video on it already for the Pixel 4a and the Pixel 5, so I'll talk about that in a little bit. But 3,885 milliamp hour battery inside this thing, and it is just really nice. It's an HDR OLED display, again 1080 by 2340. Android 11, always on display. Does have Corning Gorilla. Here's some of those things that I talked about, like something that it's not really a complaint from me, but some of you guys might complain about it, and it's the glass. So the glass on this is going to scratch really easy, probably because it's Corning Gorilla Glass 3. Yeah, that's something that they cut back on for some reason, but it's fine. Again, 12 megapixel main shooter, 16 megapixel ultra wide, LED flash, auto HDR, panorama, 4K 60. It's always good. And you got an 8 megapixel, 2.0 f2.0 aperture on the front at 24 millimeters wide. So and again, on those things that might be a con for some people, is the front camera when recording. You're gonna have to get some distance sometimes, especially for video. Now, this does have stereo speakers, and they are plenty loud for you. You'll love it. Bluetooth 5.0, and something that a lot of people don't talk about much is this has Bluetooth 5.0, but it also has aptX HD, which basically means that you can get the same type of quality without plugging in, and you can get it over wireless, and I think that's great. And it has NFC, so that's just a huge plus. You get a 18-watt charger, and then it comes in just one color, and the battery is non-removable. So you have a fingerprint reader on the back here. You've got that kind of white-looking purplish. I'm kind of looking at this lighting, but you got that power button is nicely colored there. You got the volume rocker. Camera is a little bit of bump there, but when I put on the case, it goes away. Again, fingerprint reader, a very subtle design, and you have a headphone jack, so that's important. So when it comes to performance, This is something that Pixel devices, again, if you were considering getting the Pixel 5, for the size of the device, that's something that you would want to consider. But this has 8 gigs of RAM, and this has 6 gigs of RAM in the 4A 5G. Amen. So performance, you should see the same performance overall, because the 2 gigs of RAM really isn't that much difference, and when you look at the devices. So I think that performance, that's going to be one where you're going to have to determine whether or not you trust what's the performance of what's being given there. I was changing my wallpaper back on this 5, but I think that the 2 gigs of RAM difference, I can't tell the difference, folks. I mean, the device launches things fast enough for most people, and it's just going to be a win. It's going to perform extremely well, and it's just going to be one of those things that if you like it, if you're looking for this speedy device, you might want to grab, like if you're into tech specs, you could grab a OnePlus 8T, but that's $250 more. So, and depending on when you got the device, you paying even more. So I would say the Pixel devices, the Pixel 4a in particular, is that middle ground that you should be trying to hit for. It has a bigger screen than both of the other Pixels, but the price is middle ground. So cameras are something that you guys always like to talk about when it comes to Pixels. Everybody compares everything to the Pixel devices because why? The Pixel has the best still shot cameras, and sometimes video is better on the Pixels. So let's take a break and we'll look at the Pixel's cameras, and then we'll get back into battery and things like that. So as you can see, I just took some shots around the house this time. I didn't really want to go outside too much and go walking and all that stuff. Cameras outside generally do fairly well, and almost any camera can do good outside. And this camera the cameras on these there's no exception. These are just fantastic cameras, straight up. And that discussion is always a short discussion because I feel like these Pixel cameras on all 3 of these devices, obviously they're roughly basically the same camera setup except for the 4A not having a ultra wide lens, but the cameras are the same. So you're going to get great photos and great video from them all. And I didn't expect anything different from the Pixel 4a 5G. So speaking of 5G, let me turn that off. You can definitely see that I'm getting 5G. Now, one problem I had is when I took my SIM card out of my Z Fold, which is AT&T, and I tried to put it in here, and I got no 5G. It was kind of strange. I didn't get any 5G out of the AT&T SIM card on my Pixel 4a 5G, but obviously I have 5G there with AT&T in my area, so I don't know what that's about. But if you're looking for speed tests, let me see if I have the speed test app. I don't know if I do. As far as network goes, phone call. If you're wondering about Google Fi, let me get open the speed test thing here. If you're wondering about Google Fi and their internet and their services, I think they're all good. This is Google Fi. I'm just running this speed test for you because some of you guys might want to see it. But Google Fi has always been great, and I'm going to load up AT&T with the same speed test, and you'll be able to see. So now this is AT&T internet, and you can see the difference between the two. Google Fi has always been fantastic when it comes to internet speeds. They've always been great, and you can see how it pretty much beats up on AT&T or keeps up with AT&T on 5G. I got it. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a true story real quick. This is the fastest I've seen my AT&T go. I've never seen my AT&T hit 71 or 72 in the house. So maybe they're doing some upgrades. However, Look at those numbers, folks. Anybody can tell me at this point in the video, what do you see in this video happen with those numbers? Pause. You see it? Type it in the comments if you see what I see. All right. Anyway, yeah. All right. So I'm pretty excited about the speeds that come from Google Fi. Google Fi uses several different networks mashed together, and then I said Google Fi, and then it popped up. Well, look at that. That's weird. You see that? Did Google Fi pop up? That's crazy, son. Anyway, the network on here, fantastic. You won't have any problems with that. And then also text messages, emails, all that. When you set up, I suggest you download the eSIM. That is what I recommend that you do. I'm using the eSIM. Let me see if I can show you here. That way you open yourself up to using multiple, you can turn this into dual SIM, because this it is dual SIM. As you can see, I'm using the eSIM. I always download the eSIM for Google Fi. I think it's the best way to do it. I got a video on that. If you don't know, I'll try to remember to link it down below, bars. But yeah, the network is great. No problems whatsoever. Now, let's talk about battery life. Now, battery life is something that, let me just create a shortcut real quick. Battery life is something that has always been great on these Pixel devices for me, and I just don't have an issue with it. So my Pixels normally last several days. Here it is over here. Now, before you start looking at screen on time, I sat both of these down in the last 24 hours, and I've been using, I left the house and I've been traveling with this phone. So that's why you don't see anything going on with these. But both of these were here, and I was gone with the Z Fold 2. So if you start saying, oh, Jay, but you didn't use the phone, you only got 57 minutes, that's why. Traveled over the weekend, wasn't feeling well, but I was still out traveling. And this is the usage that I'm getting from some of these. So, but normally on my Pixel 4a 5G, when using this, I grab like 6.5, 7 hours of screen on time, and maybe 39 hours or so, roughly. So battery life on this is for sure going to be good. You should not have any problems with battery life on this device. You shouldn't. Again, the Pixel devices, they just work. They're simple. They all have good battery, and in my experience of using all three of these, they have fantastic battery. Put it back in the case. They have fantastic battery. They have great cameras. They're just good, folks. Period. And again, I can't stress enough that question, that underlying question that you guys want to ask me, and you have asked me, which one should you buy, the 4a 5G, the 4a, or the Pixel 5? Well, if size is a thing, you definitely want to go with one of the smaller devices. And of those two, if you just want to save money, then go with the Pixel 4a. But if you're looking for the ultra-wide camera and the wireless charging and all the perks of having this device, then go with the Pixel 5. But if you're that person that doesn't really require wireless charging, you don't need an official IP rating and things like that, this is your device. This is your device right here, period. So I want to give you a brief recap of a full week of use out of this thing. It's absolutely great. Performance, battery, screen, just everyday tasks are incredible on this thing, man, and you will not be disappointed. So again, can't stress enough, the middle ground, they made this device intentionally. Now, again, that theory of, oh, hey, I wonder if this was going to be the Pixel 5 XL or something like that. That theory, it lingers in my head too, man. I can't say that I don't know that if that's what they were planning. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But if they were planning it, they definitely had a change of heart at the last minute. Look how the ISO cranks up really high, folks. You guys been noticing that in the video? I don't know what I'm doing. But they definitely had a change of heart, and they decided, hey, we're gonna go ahead and just call it the 4a 5G. All right, it's your man Jay. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed. And leave comments and questions down below if you have any. If you have this device, did you get it on Google Fi when it popped up for $350? Did you buy it for $499? I say either way, you got a great deal. That's just me. All right, folks, take care.